Welcome to the students of 2nd PUC. This is session 4 of chapter 7, alternating current. Before proceeding into the topics of this session, today we will be recalling some of the topics of the previous sessions. That is, we would be recalling about inductive reactance, capacitive reactance and impedance in an LCR circuit, in a series LCR circuit. Based on this, today we would be learning about the impedance triangle, resonance, derivation for resonant frequency and graphical representation of resonance. Let us begin. To begin with, inductive reactance. The formula for current in an inductive circuit was I is equal to I naught sine of omega t minus pi by 2, in which the peak value of current was given by V naught by XL, where XL is called the inductive reactance and the formula for it is omega into L. Omega is angular frequency or angular velocity. Generally in AC we would be using the term angular frequency and not angular velocity. So for angular frequency the formula is 2 pi f into the inductance L. So this is the inductive reactance. Here I can take this as equation 1. So equation 1 gives us inductive reactance. Let me do one thing. Let me take this as equation 1 and here as equation 2. So look at equation 2 here. The inductive reactance is given by 2 pi f into L. Inductive reactance is similar to resistance in a DC circuit. In an AC circuit, the inductive reactance is directly proportional to the frequency. So as frequency increases, inductive reactance also increases. I can write here, inductive reactance is directly proportional to frequency of the AC. Also, the SI unit for inductive reactance is the same as resistance and it is ohm. Next, we will go into capacitive reactance. We will see what is capacitive reactance. In a pure capacitive circuit or an AC circuit where only a capacitor is present, the current is given by I naught into sine of omega t plus pi by 2. In inductive it was minus, but in capacitive it is plus, where the peak value of current is given by V naught divided by XC. This XC is nothing but the capacitive reactance and here it is 1 by omega into C. 1 by omega is 2 pi f C. This is equation 2 gives capacitive reactance. From this formula I can tell capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to frequency. If frequency increases, capacitive reactance decreases. So we also mention in words generally as just consider the frequency to be 0, which means a DC current. For a DC current, the voltage or the current in the circuit is always constant. It does not change, neither the polarity nor the magnitude change. In that case, frequency is 0. For direct current, that is DC, frequency is 0. That means inductive reactance is given by 1 by 0, which is infinity. So that is a capacitor acts as an insulator for DC or for direct current. A capacitor does not allow DC or direct current to pass through it, whereas as frequency increases, capacitive reactance decreases and we say that capacitor allows AC to pass through it easily. We'll move on. Also, the SI unit for capacitive reactance is also the same, ohm. We'll move on. We'll recall about a series LCR circuit. A series LCR circuit would be containing an inductor L, resistance R and capacitance C. When an AC is applied, you have voltage drop across the inductor, across the resistor, also across the capacitor. Now, just now earlier we had recalled that the current in an inductive circuit is given by I is equal to I naught sine of omega t minus pi by 2, which means the current through an inductor is lagging behind the voltage by 90 degrees or pi by 2 radians. Similarly, for capacitive circuit or for a capacitor, the current is given by I is equal to I naught into sine of omega t plus pi by 2, which means for a capacitor the current is leading the voltage by pi by 2 radians or 90 degree. Whereas for a resistor, the current and the voltage through the resistor would be in phase, they would be together. This diagram is a phasor diagram which we had learnt while deriving the expression for the current through a series LCR circuit in the previous session. We are recalling the same. This diagram can further be simplified using vector addition. Vc minus VL, we get a vector here, Vc minus VL. Using parallelogram law of vector addition, draw a vector parallel to VR, a vector parallel to Vc minus VL, then the diagonal gives the source voltage or the voltage in the circuit. The voltage and current have a phase difference of phi between them. We had derived the formula in the previous session where the current in the circuit is given by I is equal to I naught into sine of omega t plus phi. Phi is the phase difference between the current in the circuit and the voltage of the source. The peak voltage I naught in this case is given by V naught by Z. This Z is what is impedance. Z was given by root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square. So I can take this as equation 1 and this one as equation 2. So equation 2 represents the impedance in the circuit. This impedance depends upon XC and XL. Using the phasor diagram and the expression for impedance, we shall begin the topics of this session, which is the impedance triangle. Here, the magnitude of the vector VR is given by the peak value across the resistance, which is V naught R, and this can be written as I naught into resistance R. The magnitude for Vc and VL similarly can be written as V naught L. The voltage, the peak value of voltage across the inductor, and this is given by I naught into XL. Similarly, if you are considering the magnitude of the voltage across the capacitor or the capacitor vector, this is V naught C, the peak value across the capacitor, and this is given by I naught into XC. If you are to write this in terms of only the magnitude, the magnitude of this vector will now become I naught XC minus I naught XL, and here it is I naught into R, and here I can write it as I naught into Z. The source voltage can be written as, the magnitude of source voltage can be written as I naught into Z. In all this, the current I naught is common. So if you take out the common term I naught, finally what you get is Z R XC minus XL. These both are parallel, so I can also write here as XC minus XL. Now consider the triangle. If I label here as O, A, B and C, if you have to consider the triangle OA, OB and OC. The triangle OAB is now called the impedance triangle. I can redraw this as OA, the resistor, AB, which is XC minus XL, the difference between the capacitive reactance and the inductive reactance, and the impedance in the circuit, the angle between the impedance and the resistance gives us phi. This would be 90 degree. Now this is called the impedance triangle. Finally, now I define what is an impedance triangle. So for a series LCR circuit, the impedance Z, the resistance R and the difference between the capacitive reactance and the inductive reactance form a right angle triangle with Z being the hypotenuse. This triangle is what is called as an impedance triangle. Based on the impedance triangle, I can tell whether the LCR circuit is more inductive like or more capacitive like. How? Let us see. We know that XC is inversely proportional to frequency and XL is directly proportional to frequency. So in a series LCR circuit, as you increase the frequency, capacitive reactance decreases and inductive reactance increases. So at a given frequency, XC minus XL can be either positive if you take coordinates X and Y. If XC minus XL is positive, then tan phi, which is opposite by adjacent, will be positive. So the LCR circuit, the series LCR circuit will be more capacitive, like it acts like a capacitive circuit. So what do you mean by more capacitive? Which means the current in the circuit leads the voltage in the circuit by a phase difference phi. Next, what if XL is greater than XC? Then what happens? You will get XC minus XL as negative, if XC minus XL is negative, then you will get a triangle, impedance triangle in the fourth quadrant. Here tan phi, which is opposite by adjacent, now becomes negative because XC minus XL is negative. So what happens? The circuit, the series LCR circuit is inductive in nature. What does that mean? That means the current in the circuit lags behind the voltage in the circuit. So the impedance triangle in this manner helps us to find out whether the circuit is more capacitive or more inductive like. Now let us see what is resonance. For a series LCR circuit, the current in the circuit is given by I naught is equal to V naught by root of R square into XC minus XL whole square. As told earlier, Xc is inversely proportional to frequency and XL is directly proportional to frequency. So as frequency increases, Xc decreases and XL increases. Also, if you remember, capacitive reactance and inductive reactance, they both are out of phase, opposite to each other. So what happens? At a particular frequency, so keep increasing the frequency at a particular frequency, Xc will be equal to XL. So when Xc is equal to XL, what happens? This term Xc minus XL becomes 0. Then the impedance in the circuit will be equal to root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. This will become root of R square plus 0 square. So root of R square, you will get this as R, which means in this case when Xc is equal to XL, the impedance in the circuit will be minimum. Therefore, the current in the circuit will have the maximum value. Z is equal to R. Therefore, I naught will be equal to V naught by R. I naught has the maximum value. So now I define resonance as it is a phenomenon in a series LCR circuit where at a particular frequency Fr, the current in the circuit becomes maximum. Let us proceed further. They may ask you, what is the condition for resonance? What is the condition to get resonance in a series LCR circuit? So in a series LCR circuit, the condition for resonance is capacitive reactance should be equal to inductive reactance and the impedance in the circuit is going to be equal to the resistance R. So this is the condition for resonance in a series LCR circuit. Now we will derive the expression for resonant frequency. For resonance in a series LCR circuit, Xc should be equal to XL. Let F subscript R be the resonant frequency. Then Xc is given by, just let me change the terms. Let me write, for the sake of convenience, I'll just change the terms. So inductive reactance is given by 2 pi FL. In this case, for resonant frequency, I'll take it as Fr is equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc. Let us simplify further. So that will give you 4 pi square Fr square L into C is equal to 1. Just cross multiply and Fr square is going to be equal to 1 by 4 pi square L into C. Finally, resonant frequency is going to be root of this. We will get that as 1 divided by 2 pi root LC. So I can take this as equation 1 and this one as equation 2. So equation 2 gives the expression for resonant frequency. Fr is equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. In some cases, in some of the books you may also find resonant frequency given by actually the angular frequency, where you may find the expression like this. The capacitive and inductive reactance are given in terms of omega. Then in this case you would get it as, in terms of the angular frequency, resonant frequency is given by omega r is equal to 1 by root of LC. Both the terms mean the same. So if you end at equation 2, that's enough. I only included this so that you don't get confused when you look at some of the textbooks where resonant frequency is given in terms of omega. Let us finally finish with the graphical representation of resonance in a series LCR circuit. So I naught is given by V naught by root of R square plus XC minus XL whole square. As you increase the frequency, XC decreases and XL increases. So at resonance, they both will be equal and this get cancelled. So what happens if you draw a graph of the peak current I naught versus the frequency in the circuit? Keep the voltage the same, but you can keep on changing the frequency of AC. As you increase the frequency, the current also keeps on increasing initially, and at resonant frequency it reaches maximum, and again if you increase, the current keeps decreasing. The maximum current is got for resonant frequency. In the next session, we will also be learning about bandwidth, where we will have bandwidth as the difference between the frequencies F1 and F2. So for the sake of the next session, I have included these two frequencies F1 and F2 and the maximum current by root 2. While for resonance, we are only interested at the maximum current which is at resonant frequency. So this is representation of resonance in a series LCR circuit. Thank you.